Hi everyone, Gertler from Cape Town and welcome to another video. The X factor that ignites muscle growth. Now, although my channel and my site focus mainly on the over 40 guy, in this video I'm going to discuss something that's universal to everybody, doesn't matter your age. Applying this X factor in your training will stimulate muscle growth beyond what you thought possible. Now, 90% of the guys out there, when they start out training, they start out with a very good training program. Their approach is rock solid, the exercises they do is rock solid, and in general, there's nothing wrong with their training plan. The first few months, they generally get very good results. They can see their muscles is responding and the body starts growing. But after a few months, we talk about 4, 5, 6 months down the line, the growth seems to slow down until eventually it comes to a complete halt. And they cannot understand why. They really train hard, these guys. They really train intense. But growth has just stagnated. And I've seen so many guys out there, especially the older guy, that is killing himself in gym, but there's virtually no response. His muscles is simply not growing. And sadly, out of frustration, eventually these guys decide to go the anabolic steroid route. But if they applied this X factor in their training, that would not have been necessary. Without this X factor in your training, you will sooner or later, probably sooner than later, reach a plateau in your muscle growth and the body will just simply stop responding. Now let me take you a step back. A few years ago, I've met this guy. He was about 27 years old. One incredible and perfect physique. Well, and on top of that, it was actually a very nice guy. Every muscle was formed perfectly and it was perfectly balanced. Since then, I've never seen a male physique that quite matched this guy's physique. I knew the guy and I knew his secret. He was all about this X factor training to the extreme. This guy never ever did 2 sets in a row that's ever the same. He was all over the place. And every time that he trained, his training regime was different, vastly different. The one set he would do heavy weights with low reps, and the next set he would do light weights with high reps. And then he's at the machine, and then he's at the free weight. Then he'll use a certain grip, and the next move he does, he uses a different grip. And around him, it was wet. This guy sweat like a pig. Not 1 second of resting. Now many guys looked at this dude, and they thought, he's crazy. But everyone idolized his body. But as humans go, few of us has the wisdom to see the wisdom in the madness. Okay, now let's get to the actual science of the X factor training. A muscle get very quickly, we call it a couple of months, accustomed to a certain way of training or certain attack. When that muscle has adapted to this training, it will stop responding. Now, many guys is actually aware of this problem, and that is why they increase the weight, let's say every 2 weeks. But the problem is, this cannot be done indefinitely. Eventually, the body will break, especially the older individual. You can't just increase the weights every 14 days. Sure, by alternating with a building phase and a cutting phase, it may help to a degree because it helps to strengthen the tendons and the joints. But it still falls way short of a long-term plan to avoid injury, especially for the over 40 guy. And I'm not talking here just about injury, I'm talking about serious injury. A new wisdom is required here to stimulate the muscle growth, to get out of this plateau. Let's look at the definition of the X factor training concepts. This is a training environment where you never allow the body to become accustomed to a fixed routine, meaning every session is different, vastly different. Now, although there is no one way of implementing this, there are many ways of implementing this. A universal approach to apply this X factor training is to apply the 16 different training concepts to your training regime. Now, I'm not going to discuss every one of these training concepts in detail here. I'm going to put up a link for you on the screen. Go to that thing, that's the original article on my site, and in that article there's a link that you can click that will give you the detail of how every one of these training concepts is executed. Using a different training concept in each training session will stimulate your muscles continually for growth. This is the X Factor training. Changing your attack plan continuously. Now remember that muscle soreness that when you started out with your bodybuilding journey, you had this muscle soreness the first couple of months every time that you're going to work out. And eventually this muscle soreness just started to disappear. And you were training hard, even way harder than you trained initially. But you're not sore anymore. That is a problem, guys, because that muscle soreness tells you that your muscles has grown accustomed to your way of training, and it's not good enough anymore. Now, I'm not talking here about the level of soreness where you can't get out of the bed the next day. I'm talking here about just enough pain so that you are aware that you had a very good session the previous day. If you don't have that kind of soreness, then your muscles is not growing, and that kind of soreness will return once you start changing your training with every session. The body needs the whole time to be in this guessing environment. It mustn't know what's eating it. It must be ever changing, and that is what stimulates growth. Okay, now, which is my favorite training concept of these 16? Supersets. Especially when you're pressed for time. Supersets is a great way of getting quickly through your training session. It can actually halve your training time if you do supersets straight from the first exercise straight through to the last exercise. You don't stop. It's just one huge superset training. Plus, supersetting will help you burn more energy, it will make you sweat, and you'll become a bit more fitter. But each of these 16 training concepts has the ability to produce great results. The key is to cycle between them. This is more important than you think, guys. Heed my warning, not putting the X Factor training concept in place will result in stagnated muscle growth. Okay guys, and just a reminder for the over 40 guy, it is crucial that you get your testosterone checked. No muscle growth is going to occur if your testosterone is not healthy. Healthy, I'm talking in the upper regions of what's considered normal, not the lower regions. There's actually been a new development, and I've mentioned in a couple of my previous videos. You can now test your blood testosterone levels in the comfort of your home. Lastly, guys and girls, I kindly ask for a small donation for my site, for all my efforts, and to help me speak positively into people's lives. Help me to keep all this information free. Now everyone, wishing you a sweaty and intense training session. Gert van Cape Town, signing off. Cheers.